Welcome to Boat Extras on this wet, wintry day, and it's a little bit on the chilly side as well. Welcome to Britain. It's the 18th of May, all around me, and we're going to get back on that boat because now that that cooker is done, we can get all that area sorted, get it all fitted, get the bulkhead fitted. I think that's going to be the first job if I'm going to be honest. And then, well, it's all exciting stuff from here on in. For me anyway. Might not be for you, but it is for me. Thank you very much for persevering on the last video. Yes, unfortunately, I had to reboot it, as you know. So I lost quite a few comments and viewers. One of them, unfortunately, it just had to be rebooted. So there's going to be low viewership on this one, on that one, which is a shame because it was a good one, getting that gas cooker working. There was some points as well with regards to the safety aspect of the piping, the pipes, etc. I will look into that. I know I reply to everybody who comments. I will look into that, but for the time being, I'm going to rejoice and use that cooker, and I've ordered a kettle so I can make a Yorkshire tea. Yes, and if I'm going to push that boat out, pardon the pun, I could even do a soup. Yes, depends on the weather, of course. If it gets colder, the soup's going on. So without further ado, shall we go aboard and let's establish what we've got to do. Go on then. And a warm welcome to you aboard this boat that's looking pretty good. Pretty darn good, I'd say. Now, the question is, before I crack on with doing that, which I think really means dismantling this to get rid of that amateur job there, because we want to start tucking stuff away properly. Let's just have a little chinwag about this thing here. Now, I found a fault with it, by the way, and that is in here, in the grill section, in there, it will not stay on. No matter how much I hold the button in, whichever one it is, I think it's this one here. When I press that, the gas, no matter how much I leave it, this is brand new, it's not even second hand, I let go, the gas goes off. And I've done a bit of research, and I don't know whether the light on this GoPro works. It does. So I have done a bit of research, and even though that this looks really nice and bright and everything, I think it's got something to do with that there, right there. Because on YouTube, like most things, which is a marvellous thing, I always preach about that, that could be the issue. And I think I have to clean it first, check to make sure that it's actually earthed properly, because I think that's probably what it is. And then this technically should work perfectly. So that's a little issue that we've got to sort out. And apparently it's quite a common fault for one of these. But as we know, the oven works wonderfully well, and we know the hob works wonderfully well, and we also checked the 240 volts ring there, and we know that works well, because it's going to get in here to use. Kettle, you know the dance. So, with that said, I actually quite like it being there and not there, because when you lift it up to use, this is going to cover some of the window. Now, you could say, well, so what? Most of the time it's going to be short. Yes, I totally agree with you there. But my fear is this ceiling here. This is a nice material. And although it's protected to a certain degree, I'm pretty sure that any steam with, you know, cooking cooking steam that carries grease, etc., that's going to get dirty pretty quick. And I would try my best to stop that from happening if I can. So I think that was the reason why I put that there, because the majority of it hits this. Now this is washable, this isn't. I did look on eBay and Amazon, and there are some 12 volt extractor fans, which I think they're about £84 or something like that. It's not too expensive, and they're very, very thin, which is what we want because of the height. And maybe something like that would go, because I've got no signal up here. I can't go onto Amazon and have a look at the dimensions. And what I should have done is I should have measured it, wrote them on a piece of paper, and then brought them here and measured that area up there to see whether it would work. See, that there is sort of right bang smack in the middle, and if you've got an extractor, I think it's going to be probably a similar width to a cooker, for the reason of extracting everything that's on the top. So I think that that would be a bit of a problem being there, and there's nothing I can do about that. Or do I just leave it as it is and just open that up when you cook and hope that the majority of it goes up there? But or get some sort of a fan that fits it, and have that as a means of sucking the air out of there. Maybe that's an option, I don't know. I'm a bit reluctant to disturb it all because, you know, it never leaked before and I don't want it to leak again. You know, well, I'm saying again, I don't want it to leak, full stop. So I'm in a quandary whether to leave it in the ideal place. Aesthetically, to me, it just looks good there. I don't know why I thought of it. Well, I know why I thought of it going there, because of this reason. And maybe it has to go back. So I would actually like your thoughts on that, because I don't think by the time this video goes out, I don't think that would have moved anyway. So just give me your feedback on that. There's enough hose at the back for it to go this side of it anyway. So with all that said, I am going to fiddle around and mess with that to start with. So go and enjoy yourselves, have a cup of tea. I can't yet, but when that kettle comes tomorrow, there's going to be a whistle going on that cooker, and it'll be calling my name for a cup of tea. So you go and have yours, and I'll see you when I've started some work. Bye for now. Okay, little update for you. So we've took that board out, and there's a little bit of something going on here where that is loose. So I need to sort that out because it's on a joint, and this one, although this is absolutely solid, this one isn't. So it's never going to be flush in the way of fitting. So that needs to be addressed first. I've also dug out a channel in this wood, so then these cables can drop down into this void here. So then they were neater, because there again it wasn't really properly fit. So I've got those cables in a nice area where they are not going to protrude any further. So that should all fit quite nicely and snugly now that that is nice and flat in all this area. All this area is nice and flat. We need to get that window in. That's going to be something needs to be fit before this panel goes on, really. The cables over here, put the light on. The cable over here is now tucking nicely down there, and we've got a rubberized clip to hold those into place. So when that is nice, sort of in its place now, It's hard to describe, but once I'll show you that as well. Show you. Once this board, if I can get it without knocking the camera over. Once this is in place over here, now you can start to see, that's about right there, you can see quite clearly now that that is a better neat finish than it was before. So all being well, once the background area is done, we should be all good to go to start installing the kitchen top, sink and everything else to go with it. Don't forget guys, it would be nice to know whether you think that should be there or whether you think it should be there, based on the knowledge that above it, steam wise, it's going to be affected more here, even though it's in the best place as far as I'm concerned, or it's going to go here where this comes out further. I mean, no doubt this is going to get soil at some point, but I'm trying to avoid it as best I can. I mean, I did think about putting some sort of a stainless steel thing over here as a protector when you cook. I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm definitely going to measure though this area here to see if an extractor would actually work. That is something I will do, but you know, that is right in the way. Anyway, that's for another day. So I have now got to basically take that out of the way, and I have already taken the liberty of cutting a spar to go across here up against the toilet doors here and forcing that in, and then we'll leave that to set. We'll get that glued and hopefully the glue will hold, and if it does, then that'll be great. So that's my next task, is I'm going to get that into place and then leave it overnight, and hopefully we can continue. I've just taped up the around here just to keep the cables out of the way so that they don't drop down and interfere with this flush fit, because everything fits nice and flushly. I might even consider putting an extra piece of ply across the bottom, although I've just maybe questioning my actions there, because it would then protrude more out there, so probably I won't be doing that. And actually I don't need to, do I? I've just answered my question, and that is obviously when I put the kitchen top into place, it will sandwich it anyway, so I don't need to do that. So that's one less problem. Right, there you are, you're up to speed, and I will carry on with doing that spar bit next. Bye for now. Right, little update. You'll have to excuse the noise outside because every Tom, Dick and Harry is making a racket out there. Anyway, that is now on there, and as you can see, it is starting to adhere itself to that end of the boat. I've got that little piece into place with the floor down. So, do you know what? I don't think that's too bad. I know the grain doesn't match, but when it's pinned, I think you'll not see anything there. And this is nice and flush with this, so this can actually be pinned. So what I've got in my head now is, well, I'll tell you something, it's taken 4 bangs of my head to realise that I need to duck when I go past this. It's 4, and not half hurts. And because we're a little bit sparse with the hair to protect myself, it's skin, bang. Anyway, I think what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to offer up, in fact I'm going to measure the original bulkheads, which is fortunate for me I've got them still, as you can see the curved one there, and that one there, and that one over there. They are the original bulkheads, and I'm going to maybe bring the the actual drive console there, or with that one there. I think I'm going to bring this up onto the boat. Now, it's not going to be an over accurate size, because the tub, I think, unless I can measure the tub, I think the tub goes up at an angle, and then the actual console sits on top of it. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do a bit of measuring, because I am debating whether, because it's got a cupboard on the console, you Nauticus people that have Nauticuses, you will understand what I'm on about. You've got a little cupboard that you could pull it out, and you can see the bulkhead. I'm just debating how high it is. So I might make that decision to put that switch thing, you know, somewhere around here, flush. I haven't decided yet, because I don't know whether I'm capable of making a nice raised cabinet that's going to look good. It's hard to describe. I've got to remember my limitations, and if it's anything like, I can't move that wood, but no, I can't. If it's, oh, just let me put the light on. You know, that's my limitation there, and I don't know whether that looks good enough to go, or something of that caliber will look good there, or whether it's going to look like some amateurs done it. So I'm just debating whether to put the switches flush, cut a section out, fit it, so then you can service the rear of it that will be hid in behind the center console. Do you get what I'm going at there? I hope you do. So I'm just debating how high it's going to be. So I think I might offer it up here. If I don't get the answers, by measuring the bulkhead together with the height of the tub where the center console sits, then I might have to offer everything up, or I might have to defer putting those switches in. I suppose I could connect them all up, mind, because I want to see if everything works, of course. So that's where we are. So floor's back in. It's starting to look better, isn't it? I mean, and of course I need to trim all these in. If that's going to be where it's going to be, then I'll have to alter all that as well. I did think, jumping the gun, I've been thinking all the time about cooking and this material up here. I mean, I know it looks good and everything, but you know, the boat has to be serviceable at the same time. I thought maybe I could cut a sheet of stainless steel and maybe glue some strong magnets on the back, and have some magnets, you know, sort of on here, and be able to, when you do cook, put a shaped stainless steel thing up there, and it might just, you know, protect it. I don't know, it's just a thought. Maybe you guys will have an idea, you know, maybe, or put something there and there, and you slide that extractor on it, and then when you're not cooking or whatever, you can take it down again. But is that fiddly? I don't know. But it is an issue, and it's not going to go away. So anybody got any ideas, let me know, because that's what you're there for. I'm going to make you work. Right, so I'll leave it like that. You can see that down there now. Everything looks good. I'm well chuffed with that. It's going to look good. But I've got to get that right, because I figured that I might sort of see if you can buy. I've put the sizes on a piece of paper. Sort of get make a spice rack or something, and then incorporate at the lower section of the spice rack incorporate the switches. You know what I mean? Just sort of use the spice rack as a bit of a decoy for the switches underneath if it's going to be raised. So I've got all this juggling along in my head. Right, well, I'll carry on and I will speak to you later. Bye for now. Get your thinking caps on. Right, oh, we're on, good. Right, so I thought I had a full bulkhead, but I haven't. I've got half a bulkhead, but that's good because it's easy and manageable. And there she is. That is the original bulkhead. Unfortunately for us, or for me, we can see a very faint line going all the way around. And that is where this used to fit. So we've got a very good idea now of where things are going to go. So if I just drop that into place, and I know it fits because there's the hole, there's the hole, there's the hole, and there's the hole for those. So I know for a fact that that fits just like that. And there was obviously clocks and stuff that used to go there and what have you. Now we've also got this line here, and that was part where it recessed underneath the top of the roof section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the way around there and then lose it somewhere over there. Forget about that because we don't need to know, we don't need that bit. And then I'm going to offer this up onto the new one, and I'm going to temporarily screw it into place or clamp it into place. And then we now know, once we put that up against this one, we now know exactly where that is going to live. And that then gives us some of the answers of what we can do on the inside, and also whether I decide to break through from the other side of the bulkhead with those switches, you know what I mean. So I think that's a good idea. A little bit of work involved, but I think ultimately there's no guesswork, is there? Because that is exactly where everything's going to go. Because I'm definitely going to use this again, and I'm definitely going to remove everything, and I'm going to fully restore it. I'm going to fill in some of the holes because quite a lot of what we want will be on the dashboard that will go on the top of there. So all in all, I think that's a good result, finding that, and it now gives us, there's no guesswork. We know exactly. Once I've trimmed that in place, I can then offer it up, as I've said, and then we've definitely got a perfect template to figure out where we go from there. So that is exactly what I'm going to do next. Stay tuned, and bye for now. Okay, so I think this has been a good exercise because it's definitely shown me where everything's going to be. So take a pew at that. So that is exactly where it originally sat. Level here, that's where the clocks were, obviously, and that there is the original hour meter for this boat. And the reason why I think that's the case is because I don't know whether you can read, there is the date on the back of that clock, and somebody clearly, it's done three, well, I definitely don't think they, well, I can't be so sure, I've got no evidence. It could be the original engine, I really don't know. I've got nothing to say that it's the original or it's been a swap out. But those are the hours that possibly that engine had done. It's definitely been rebuilt, and as you can see, somebody had put in maybe a season's worth of use there, the hours there, so you can see that it hasn't done much. 20 hours possibly, because that's 3605 and that is 3626. Well, I don't know what that means actually. That's less, isn't it? Oh, maybe that's when the gentleman from Scotland who bought this boat and had it down here at Moonbridge Marina in Garstang, maybe that's when he bought it. He bought it at 3605, and that's how many hours the actual boat had done when he got it. Maybe that's the reason, because that's done in pencil. But I think that's something that we have to keep, definitely. Oil pressure gauge, possibly so. I mean, it's a Smith one. I mean, I think I've got a few of those with me having MGs, and it's obviously a British Leyland things that they use these clocks, the Smiths ones. So we'll probably take that out gently, and that one and establish. Well, we'll establish what goes where, but that for now is fixed in place. Obviously it's out a bit. That's the reason why I needed to cut it away from there, because that would have been recessed like the new one is. And incidentally, you can now see the difference in the new one that I've put in, the thickness of the new one in relation to the old one. So everything on this boat is definitely oversized and a lot heavier, but nevertheless I think it's a lot stronger, this boat, than it was. I mean, they were very strong, don't get me wrong, but you know, that is now a tremendous amount of support both on that side and that side. So at least it shows us now where the steering column would be going, and then it obviously drops down, and cabling etc would go there and there, drop through and then round and then out, because there is the cables. As you can see, I think that's the steering cable, or is it that one there? I think it's that one actually. So that would go around, and then you've got the obviously the gearbox etc controls, the revs etc, that used to live here and would bolt onto there. So bit of work to do to this center console, but you know, I'll enjoy doing that actually. So the question is, do we come through with some cabling? Look at that there, by the way, look at that. That was stuck to it. I don't even think it's ever been used, that. That's old, isn't it? So we now know, if we were to decide that we were going to come through with anything, this is the area. Anything from here upwards we can do. Right up to wherever. So there's quite a lot, and you can understand, I suppose, why people had their wiring collection inside that cupboard area, because you know, you've got quite a lot of room. But I just think that personally, I think damp air and water, you know, ingress coming over possibly, I don't know, we'll have to address that issue. It could go down, and it can certainly deteriorate the cabling that bit quicker, and I don't think it's necessary. Well, I've committed myself now, I'm going through there and that's where it's going to go. But on the X we could put the switches or anything else. We could put the diesel control that can come through and come out here and then drop down. So yeah, I think that was a good choice to do that. I don't quite know what they were there on that side, because there's no room at all to do anything. So I don't quite know what that was for, unless it was for actually the cabling to come through, because this is where everybody would put their wires, etc. I'm not so sure, and I can't be honest with you, I can't actually remember. I knew it used to be Spaghetti Junction behind there, so I knew that was the case, but I don't know whether they actually came through there or not. But yeah, and you can see how high the tub travels with that angle. It obviously goes from there and then goes up underneath there, because it traps that underneath. Interesting. So there we have it. So I think that was a useful exercise. At least we now establish the height of where that is, which goes to show, don't throw anything out. Don't throw anything out until you've done. Right. Okay. Well, I think it's drawing to a close, this this today. So I might resume tomorrow, in which case you'll know in a nanosecond. So I'll see you later. Bye for now. And a warm welcome to Boat Extras yet again. It is Thursday the 21st, and it's quite late into the afternoon, because I've been waiting yet again for some more parcels. Those that are restoring a boat will fully understand why you have to wait and wait for parcels, because this boat is never ending for parcels. However, we are on the boat, albeit for only a couple of hours maybe. So the last time we came here, which was the flick of the page, is we were anchoring this section here because it was jutting out, and when the adjacent piece was put next to it, it was that bit more sticking out. So we've neatened everything off. That is now firmly in place, so we're all good to go. I've put that piece back up just to offer it up to see how it went, and that was fine. So I think the next thing for me to do, I know I've got to anchor the chain at some point, but I think I'm going to tackle cutting out the kitchen top and get that sort of rough cut into place, because I want to see how that butts up to here and up to here as well. So that is what I'm going to do right now. So I will see you down there. Bye for now. Okay, so this is the top, and I'm going to offer up, it's like a grey sort of mottled, which I think will blend in quite nicely with the kitchen coloured units. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So the face, obviously this is the rear of it, because it hasn't got a laminated front, but this side definitely has. So I think 1m20, I think it was 1m20.5, so it's roughly about here. So we've got a nice, well, there's a balance there. Who knows what that could be used for? Maybe well, I don't know, it'll go into stock like everything else. So I am going to cut that down. Now obviously we're going to have a bare edge on this side, which is where the closest to where the cooker is. I will have to try and find some of this, because I couldn't really take anything off any edge, because there's nothing at all on the edge, but I'm sure I'll be able to come across this. I think this, the person that had this kitchen, it came from Wren, so there may be a chance of getting a section off it. So I will make some inquiries, or I might even have some of it as anyway, but I'm sure I'll be able to get this, because I think it's a relevant colour, because I think it was only maybe 2 or 3 years since the kitchen went in, so there's a high chance that this it will still be available. So we'll have a little bit of a research. If the worst comes to the worst, we can always put one of those metal edged covers over that side, which probably, actually thinking about it, will probably work that bit better, because the heat will be at this side, so actually might be a good idea to do that. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark it all up and probably get my circular saw out and cut it with that, because that's going to be the most accurate, straightest cut, I would have thought. So, be right back. Right then, so there we go, that's in place. The only disappointing thing is when I came to trial the sink actually, bought in 2018, is vastly bigger than I would like, because it literally finishes there and about there. So I'm afraid that £114 for a stainless steel sink is no good. So I'm going to have to get another one, slightly smaller. But I think the colour's okay. I mean, that's only temporary there, but you can get the gist of how it's going to look. I actually might even tile this area here. Maybe come around here a bit, I'm not so sure. I'm going to debate that little issue. I think it would look okay, because there's going to be an element of splash, isn't there? I mean, I could put a stainless steel thing across there and there, but I don't know whether that looks a bit too commercial. So, but that's at a later date, I would say. Anyway, on the good side, look what we've got. Look what we've got. We've got the old whistle kettle, soon to be used. And then we can go like that. And when I say go and make yourself a cup of tea or a coffee, I can damn well do it myself, because I've got the facility. So I'm chuffed about that. So as you can see, I've clearly moved the cooker back over here, because I think if you look at where everything's going to be cooked from, if I can hold the camera to a certain angle, you can see everything's going to go sort of like that, there and there. And if it was where the kettle is now, we're going to hit that. So I think it's a safer option having it here, even though I did actually prefer it there. Plus also, now that the top's in, it does give us more chopping space, because the sink's going to go over here, and there's a bit of room for chopping up whatever vegetables and your food, etc. And then maybe we can get something stainless across there like that, and I think that will encapsulate that area quite nicely, rather than going down this route. I think it would look a better finish if it was stainless steel, because it would then marry up with that there. There is a debate whether I should stainless steel that. I have got some actually, and I could cut it out to that shape. So it might be, you know, something that might look better than being the face colour. So there we are. So it's a case of, I've now got to figure out what size sink I need for here, and obviously allow enough for taps to go behind, or alternatively I suppose the tap could go, we could have a swan neck here on an angle over here. But yeah, it's looking well. Nice colour with that. I think it looks really good. Anyway, there we go. That'll be enough for today, and I will see you, all being well, tomorrow. Oh, and another thing as well, saves me tackling that again, because obviously I cut that out to go with this in this area anyway, so we can get that all trimmed in properly, get the face back on, and then we can sort of try and get this thing looking half done. And that has to be, this has to go in pretty soon, so I need to order the gasket for that, because it's not the same thickness as this one. It's a thinner one, because you've only got that to deal with, and the perspex, which I think is knocking about somewhere. So I shall sort that out tonight. I'll get that one, and I will also get that one. And I think WR69, I think that one is over there. I think I'm going to be short. I think I'm going to be short for one of these windows, so I might have to order one for here. I know I've got enough for the big one, but I don't think I'm saying I haven't. I'll need to check it. I know I'm talking to myself again, but these are things I need to sort out. I need to order them all together, because they're expensive ordering from this company in a singular way. So the more you order, the less cost it is to get it to you. So there we go. Right, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good evening. Bye for now. It is Tuesday the 26th, and as you can see above my very thick hair on top of my head, now then, you can see it's bakingly hot out here, as it is, I suppose, throughout the country. So, doors are wide open, even the shorts are on. I won't burden you with that unless you get a glimpse of my, oops, we don't want to be dropping one's helmet, do we? No. So, what are we doing? I've had a few days off, but you know, I haven't been slacking or anything like that. I have been a little bit on the busy side. So what am I going to do? Well, you know the bulkhead, now that we've got that piece of ply up, which looks very nice, I might add. We now have to put something on there. And I'm thinking something like this here. That, I think, would look pretty good on that bulkhead. The only problem with that is that one is massive, and it definitely won't fit on that bulkhead over there. So I am going to replicate that, and I'm going to make a miniature version of it, because I think that would be pretty good in a slightly smaller version. So I think I'm going to make one like that, and that is going to be in this episode, because I need to get my skates on and get this one online, because it will be at least 2 weeks, and we don't want it any longer than that, because Mr. Algorithm might throw a wobbler, and I've already pushed him to the limits with my channel, because we've had plenty of gaps in the past, as you well know. Thank you for keeping with me, much appreciated. So I think something like that aesthetically will look rather good, and I've got enough pieces of wood, I think, to do something. This little bit here, not so sure about, but I'm sure Dell's with a bit of something going on. I'm sure I'll be able to do something. I'm not going to, I mean, I'll show you as I progress, but I'm not going to show you the ins and outs, because it'll be boring. But you know, it's not going to be a long drawn out thing, I can assure you. So I'm going to crack on with that, because it is now 1:15 in the afternoon, and I would like to get quite a long way down before I call it a day today. So with that said, get yourself a Pimm's or a Pina Colada or a Stella for the certain few in Yorkshire, with a jacuzzi and an umbrella and a barbecue and a Range Rover, 2 Range Rovers. See ya later. Right, okay, so just a little update for you. So as you can see, that's what I'm trying to replicate there, that one, and I've managed to, I basically had a sort of a bookcase in this sort of pine type of stuff, so I thought I'd use that. So I sanded stuff down and planed it down, and we've ended up with something like this. So as you can see, it's slightly smaller than that one. That's obviously quite wide. If you can see actually the size of it, so it's considerably smaller, so I'll have to make a drawer unit there, or if the switchboard, you know, that stainless steel switch thing that I've got, that I'm still undecided where it's going, I could actually make a single board going across there and then insert that switchboard at the bottom. So I've utilised the this routed section as well, which will come in handy to put the shelving in, and then all we've got to do is replicate this thing here, which will be easy because I think I've got some pine dowel. And if I put that on my lathe, I can just sand down each section and then put a groove in it as well. So I think we'll be happy days with that. So far so good. And once that's stained up, like the oak up there, I think it'll look pretty good. So that's what it looks like up to now. I've obviously curved it a little bit more than that. That's quite flat. And that's the only difference with mine and that one, is that that's got more of a curve on it. I don't know whether that's, I think I probably went a little bit overboard, because what I'd used was I used that for there, and then I did the return. So for this, I basically did that. So I found the centre and then did that, put masking tape, and then drew a line, and then measured in equally, and then I did a return like so there, and a return like so there. So that matches that, and that's how I got it. So I mean, once it's connected to there, it'll be fine. I think it looks okay. It looks more symmetrical than that one does, centralised than that one does, because that one, as you can see, is slightly higher over there than it is there. But that one is that is pretty centred. So I'm happy with that. Right. Okay. That is that for now. I shall carry on, and well, you'll be back when I'm ready. See you later. Right, okay, well, it's now 5:15, and I think I might call it a day. Because I'm dusty to hell, and I've run out of water, and when it's 30 odd degree out there, or Celsius, whatever it is, it's I need some water. So I've got this section now done. That fitted there quite nicely, so they have been done. So all I've got to do now really is, well, I'm just debating whether I actually need to put a back on it, because it'll go, actually it'll go on there. So, but I'll have a look and we'll see. So I think the next stage is to do the dowels and then the cross member going across. I think that's the next job. So yeah, it's coming on nicely actually. I mean, it's obviously nothing like the size of, in fact, if I put the other one, you'll see the size, you'll see the difference in size. Oh. It's smaller in height and in width as well. So there we have it, and I think that'll be just about right. You can put all sorts of stuff on there. The only thing that's probably a bit dicey is the fact that this is a little bit short for the switches. But having said that, I could put the switches at the back of there, maybe. I don't know. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, suggested that those light switches probably would be better on the outside where the cockpit is, and I'm sort of inclined to agree, really. The only thing is they're stainless steel, and I'm sure they're not high quality stainless steel, and what I don't want is then the damp atmosphere to make them rusty, even though they are meant to be stainless steel. You know what Chinese, no disrespect to the Chinese, but you know what that stuff's like. Eventually it tarnishes. I'm assuming it's stainless steel. It could even be aluminium. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. But maybe those switches will go on the outside, because yes, they do have the horn, the navigational lights. They also have this spotlight, etc., and all the exterior lights as well. So maybe that should go on the outside. So, but I'm pleased with today's progress. We've got mainly the carcass sorted. We just got the fiddly bits to do, and then well, we can offer it up and we'll see where we go from there. So have a good evening, and I will see you next time I'm here. Bye for now. And a warm welcome back to you, my friends. It is Friday the 29th, and we're continuing with that there. That's the sample, and that's what we're making. So as you can see on the side there, you can see the difference in thickness, because obviously that's way too deep. It's taking far too much room, and it was too high. So we've obviously, well, we've got to this stage. We've drilled some holes, as you know, so we've now got to start doing something like these to get that sorted, and then we've got to decide what's going to happen there. Might not even do anything there, but we'll see how we go. So let's get cracking. Let's get me cracking, and then I can get this finished, and then I can get this online, because you've been waiting 2 weeks, and that's long enough. So go and get yourself a nice cool drink, and I'll see you very shortly. Bye for now. Okay, just a quick one now. I've decided what I'm going to do is, rather than have it completely square, because some of these edges are really batty off this this wood. I know it would look rustic and in keeping, but I just thought I'd round these edges off here and on the other side, just to give it a bit of character, you know, just nicely rounded off. So I'm going to do the edges on this side as well. I might not do those. I'll see how it all goes together. Everything is sanded, and those dowels are now in shape. So what I'm going to do is get to the stage where I'm going to give them some medium oak to see what they look like, because I know this is a completely different wood. So we'll try out the medium oak. We can always go darker, so we can't go lighter. So that's what we're going to do. So we're at the stage, as you can see, this is all square. I might actually have to go round on these ones that I've done, unless I stick with unless I do the outer edge curved. Have I done the outer edge curved, or have I gone on the in? No, I've gone on the inside. I've got it, so I'm committed anyway. Right, yeah. So I'll probably curve these as well, in keeping with the outside of what I've just done. So there we are, we're just up to that stage at the moment, and then you'll join me back when I'm on the staining side of it, I think. And I'll dry fit it because I'm waiting for some of that glue. I've seen it on quite a number of, and I don't know why I haven't bought it. Just didn't click in my stupid head. It's this glue that you can literally put on. Like, it's a bit like super glue, and then you get this spray like an activator, and you literally just spray it quickly and it bonds straight away, which is exactly what I think I need for when I put the dowels in and then put the roof. I'll show you on this one, it's easier. So when I come to connect these and this together and then squishing it together, I want some glue that I can instantly, you know, put in there, spray, and it holds it straight away. I could clamp it, but I think if I did that, it would work. So that's the stage we're at the moment. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. You enjoy yourselves, because I am. Right, okay, so I've rounded all the edges off. As you can see, those are the edges, they're all rounded off there. So I started to put on the medium oak, and it looked too red. It actually looked identical to that, which is what I didn't want. So I ended up going with the Jacobean dark oak, which actually, I don't know whether that looks too piney or not, but I think I'll stick with that for now. But it gives you an idea what it's going to look like, and that's pretty accurate to that one, but on a smaller scale. So apart from that one, there's a bit dark, because I started with that one and then realised it was too red, so I ended up going on top of it. So I might have to sand that down again, because it looks a bit dark, but whether you're going to notice that or not, I don't know. So I'm going to coat the rest of them, all these here and those, and then leave them overnight, and then hopefully that glue will be here at some point tomorrow. And I can't do anything tomorrow, but I will do something on Sunday. I want to get it built. In fact, what I might do is I might come and do another coat at some point tomorrow and not film it, and then on Sunday I'll be able to glue it all together, because the glue would have arrived, because I don't know when the glue's arriving, you see, tomorrow, so it's going to be a wasted day. And I've got to go and sort somebody's birthday out for Monday, so it makes sense me going and doing that, then coming back Sunday to finish this off, get it all stuck together, say da-da, and then get this on for Sunday night. That's the plan. So I'll crack on and do the rest of this, and I will see you, well, with a bit of luck, I'll see you Sunday, because that's the plan of action. Right, stick you back on your pedestal, and ta-ra for now. And a good morning to you all. It is a Sunday the 31st. Yes, deadline day. Has to be done, has to be online. You need to be watching it at the latest Monday morning, unless the download doesn't take 14 years. So here we go. I've decided I'm going to work outside because it's Sunday, and as you can see, it is, well, it's cloudy, it's a bit cold, but hey, I'm cool with that. I'm going to work outside, and this is where my workstation's going to be. It's going to look like that on a smaller scale, but what I didn't want it to do is when I stained it, it didn't look like pine, and it definitely looks like pine. Questionable. So we may have to go down a colour or three, because I don't want it to look like that. Well, I'm saying I don't want it to look like that. It's okay, but you know, it's out when all's said and done, so I think we need to go a bit lower. But I think what we need to do first is we need to get it all glued up, And now that this glue stuff that I've never used before, we've got an aerosol activator and the mitre bonds, so that'll give me enough to get everything like stuck in place and then put together, and then I can then shoot some pins in it, etc, etc, and make it stable. Now I'm debating whether to put the back on it or not, because if I go flush with the oak that's up there, we'll try it out first, but hey, that's what we're going to do anyway. And also we're going to, for the very first time, you're going to see me make a cup of tea, boring that it may be, but we're going to test that whistle, and we're going to make a cup of tea. Now I'm not going to show you how to make a cup of tea on a boat, but I'm going to make a cup of tea on that boat as the last thing before I put this online. So, well, have yourself an early cup of tea for now, but save enough room, because I'm going to have a cup of tea with you. Yes, my favourite friends. So, with that said, I'll get some work done. Bye for now. Right, yes. Well, I've just tried that glue out for the first time, and it's wicked stuff. Pretty much instant, and when things like this are fiddly and they're wobbling around, it's perfect. And then you can shoot some pins in afterwards, and Bob's your uncle. So the next bit is getting these little things in here, and hopefully it's going to do the same thing. So I need to put these in here, like so. Does that fit in there? No. Maybe that one will go in there, maybe that one will go in there, no. That'll go in there. So I think the idea is try and find the best way of doing this, because once they're in and this glue goes off, or it reacts with that spray, that's it. So I think you squidge a bit of glue in each one of them. Like so. And then we can, suppose we could do those, and then we'll, because it shouldn't set yet. He says. Huh. They all still swizzle. I think the secret is to get this top on like so. Go in, please. Say it nicely. Right, and then we give this a bit of a whack, and that's supposed to penetrate, allegedly, well, that's it. Oh my god. God, where have I been without that lot? That is tremendous. Right, well, you know what's going to happen next. We're going to get this one on. Now, I think I still need to trim this down a bit. This top one. Because I brought I sliced a bit off these two here. Because that panel that I made over there just didn't quite fit properly. It was a little bit on the short side. I cut too much off it. So I line those holes up and then make a line there and there. Take that much off. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bandsaw just to trim that in. That'll do nicely. So I'll do a dry fit, I think. Does it matter which hole they go in? No, they don't. Is it that way? Yes. Are we going to fit? Yes. Yeah. That's going to look pretty good, that. Right. How do we do this? Well, we know that they're going to fit, so we'll leave those in there. Put those there for now, and they're little. They remind me of that old-fashioned game, you know, where you used to have a thing on a string and you used to knock them over. Before my time. I got this off Amazon, this stuff, and it's not dear either. I'm fuming about it. At times I could have used it on the boat. God. Been waiting for glue to go off overnight. I dread to think how many hours I've been waiting. Crazy. Okay. Are we in? We're in. Let's get you straight. Look like you're semi-professional. Right, it's the sprayer. Love it. Do your stuff. Oh well, this could be my new favourite tool. No offence, router, but this is fast being a good one. Right, well, as you can see, guys, look at that. That's looking pretty darn good. And it's a smaller version of that. So I might just try a back on it to see what it is. That looks a bit high, that. Does it look a bit high? Oh, it's not too bad from here. Shoot some pins in there. Do I need to shoot some pins in there? I don't think I need to be honest. I think it's pretty solid, that. Cool. I might just go and offer it up on the boat now, just to see what it looks like without the back on, and then, well, you'll soon know, because if I put it on, you know I didn't like it. Right, see you in a minute. Okay, right, oh, welcome aboard, welcome aboard. I was going to make the decision myself, but true to form, I can't. Might need your input on this one, yet again. I mean, overall, I'm very happy with the way it looks. There you go. I think that looks rather nice there. It's not protruding too much. I didn't want it to protrude any more than there. I think that would look quite nice there. The question is, do I leave the back off and just have it up against there? That's number one. Number two, do I make a drawer to go there, or do I leave it open? Number three, if I have a drawer there or I leave it like that, do I have it raised so that it doesn't get as wet around here? And finally, do I put that at the back of it or not? What do you think? I mean, it does bring it forward ever so slightly, and you've got a bit of a gap going on there. I mean, I could put some beading there, but I don't really know. I've still got the element of, I've still got those light switches I need to address at some point, whether I go with a cupboard, a drawer down here, oops, whether I go with a drawer, or whether I go this gets completely covered in, and then I have the light switches. But then, of course, you know, it's near water. Is it going to get just as wet there as being out there? I don't really know. You could say, well, why do you need to use that switch anyway? Well, I've got the switches now, and I would like to use them, but I still don't know where. I mean, things like, obviously not this, but, you know, let's say, you know, big items, they fit quite nicely up there. So it's not like I could put the switches here, because then they would be, you know, they would be covered. I could put them up there, but then it means that they're going to be, you're going to see them up there. If they were going to go anywhere, this is where this is going to live. So anywhere in this vicinity, here, there, would be okay, I suppose, because you could then gain access to the cables at the back. I don't really know. But I think the first question I'm going to ask you is, do you think I should leave that back on or not? That one. like so. And then obviously, as I mentioned to you just before, do I have it raised so then it doesn't get wet underneath? And I mean, I really, if I'm going to make a drawer, it's not going to take me long to make a drawer anyway, is it? So I suppose I could make a drawer anyway out of the waste, because I've got some more of this wood down there somewhere. So it's not like it's going to take me long, and it's not even 12 o'clock yet, so I've still got time to make that and well, have a look. So I think I'll have answered that question. So forget that one for a minute, concentrate on the rest. Well, no, don't forget any of it, because by the time you watch it, that drawer will be there. So yes, give me an idea of what I should do. The point of the matter is, I need to finish it, and then you decide which bits I keep, which bits I don't keep. Is that fair? Cool. Right, I'm going to go back down there, take that back down there, and I'm going to make a drawer for that. That's better. Okay, see you in a minute. And a warm welcome back. And it's starting to get warm, look. It's getting a bit broken up out there now. So I've given this a good coat, another coat, and there's the drawer that I've made to go with it. Nothing special, but with that glue, brilliant. Took half the time to sort that out. So once that slides into place, like I say, we'll have to make a decision on whether we put the back on, whether we raise it, and if we do raise it, then I'll probably put a bottom on. I'll probably put a bottom on here, so then that can rest on it, rather than putting two fillets on the outside to use it as a proper sliding drawer, because it's just for knickknacks, I would have thought. I mean, I suppose you could put cutlery in there, but I don't think that's the case. But it's definitely, I mean, the colour's growing on me, and as we've seen on the boat, although it is dark up there, I think it does definitely blend. So yeah, there we go. Right, now I've earned myself a cup of tea, so meet me aboard and let's make a cup of tea. You'll be the first to see it. So we'll go aboard now. I'll put the kettle on. As you can see, it's on now. I've got all my stuff all in a row. My tea, that's instead of sugar, organic honey, good replacement. That is, well, it's not milk, it's oat milk. I've never had it before, but you know what? Let's give it a go, because, well, this is the first time I've had a cup of tea on a boat for a while. I mean, obviously I've been on a cruise, but not as primitive as all this. So we're just going to wait for this baby to heat up. And also, I've got to say that it's a good experiment to see where the steam and the heat actually ends up on there, because we need to know. And obviously there's going to be heat deflection as the flame hits the bottom of this kettle, whether it was a pan or whatever, whether this is going to get hot here, which at the moment doesn't seem to be the case, so that's good. So it is a good trial anyway. So we're just going to wait for this kettle to boil. So you'll be back when it is. Bye for now. Right, we can't be far away. It's literally starting to boil up now. Just the steam coming out. Maybe this experiment of the steam going straight up won't work, because the door's open and we've got no window. So maybe that part of it might fail, but it's progressing now. And of course I need to know whether this thing works, otherwise it's going to be packed up and here we go. Let's see what sort of tone we've got. So we could place that on there. I wonder also, there we go, brilliant. So according to Shane, this should cut off as I put this down. And it does. Perfect. So I'll just put that back down to 0. Right, well, there we have it. Can I see you now? Yes. Make my first cup of tea on the boat. Oh, I'm going to sit outside and I'm going to watch the stain dry because I want to give it another coat. No, I don't. What I want to do is I want to be able to, that's hot. I want to be able to pick it up, bring it here with the drawer, and then finish on that note so then you can see it and then you can make a lovely decision on whether it has those points that I asked you about. So I'm going to scoop that honey in there. That can go out there, ready to go home. And we'll have it, oh, I'll tell you what, Shane, I'll have it in one of your mugs. There. So, there's a first always round here, isn't there? So, the next time you'll see me now is I will, well, in fact, what I might do is I might let that brew, because I like it strong. Builder's tea. I might leave that there for now. I'll go down there and bring that thing up, and then we'll have a final look at it up there in all its glory, and we'll wrap this episode up because John's texted me to saying, "Are we barbecuing tonight?" And I think that's a damn good idea, and it's a good way to finish this Boat Extras. So bear with me, I'm going to leave you here. Obviously I'm going to switch you off, but you'll be back in a minute. Bye for now. Okay, right, tea made. It looks a bit not so keen, but we'll give it a go. Well, they know about, you know what they say about your first time. It's nothing special. I think I might stick to cow's milk. Anyway, on a brighter note, I've got that taste. On a brighter note, I'm holding this light because that, with its coats and its drawer, is what it looks like there. So obviously we need a bit of a handle or something there to pull it out. At the moment it's obviously resting on there, like so. But, you know, does it look better with the drawer or without the drawer? I think it probably looks better, in all honesty. So, you know, so with that said, it's obviously the switches won't go there. Anyway, I'm going to leave that thought with you and leave that vision with you. You can decide whether the back goes on, whether it gets raised up, or whether the switches, and I put a hard section across there and put the switches there. But then you've got to remember that, you know, water is going to be around here. So I will leave that entirely in your capable hands. Let me just put this up out of the way. So, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every time you comment because it does help with everything. Please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything I know that we all forget stuff. I'm the same, but you know, we need to get that algorithm going and whatever. I've noticed that some people have got hype buttons, but I don't think I've got one of those. Or if I have, I don't know how it works. But anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. As I say, I will see you in the next one. Obviously, I'm going to be filming next week. I don't know what I'm going to be filming, but we'll figure it out and have a, well, just have a good balance of a weekend. Bye for now. I thought if I drank it outside, it might be fine. It's still not good. Bye. See you.